This is Mino-Ota Station in Gifu Prefecture, located roughly in the center of Japan. Today, I'd like to introduce you to the local private railway, the Nagaragawa Railway. The Nagaragawa Railway operates a round-trip, a special train, named Slow and Clearstream Train. This train slows down at locations where the Nagara River is best viewed. All cars are unreserved seating, no reservations are required, and no special destination signs are displayed. The journey takes 2 hours and 10 minutes, 5 minutes longer than the next train. There were 21 passengers excluding me. The train has all long seats. In 2006, the Nagaragawa Railway and JR tracks were separated. Mino-Ota Station has one platform and one track, with no sidings. It's a little further on that the train runs parallel to the Nagara River, and until then it runs through flat land. The Nagaragawa Railway runs for 72.1 kilometers, 44.8 miles, from Mino-Ota Station in Mino-Kamo City in southern Gifu Prefecture to Hokunou Station in Gujo City in central Gifu Prefecture. This line, called the Etsumi South Line, is the only line operated by the Nagaragawa Railway. Originally, it was Japan National Railways (JNR) line and planned to be built all the way to the other side of the mountain. A section opened in 1923, and it was extended to Hokunou in 1934. However, as transport demand declined year by year, it was never extended to the other side of the mountain. Following the privatization of the JNR, the Etsumi South Line on the other side was taken over by JR West. Meanwhile, the Etsumi South Line was designated a designated local transportation line before privatization. Designated local transportation lines are low-demand lines designated for closure in order to rebuild the struggling JNR. With very few exceptions, these have all been converted into third-sector companies or replacement buses. The Etsumi South Line also faced the threat of closure and was converted into the third-sector Nagaragawa Railway in 1986. The Nagaragawa Railway runs along the Nagara River from near Mino City to its terminus at Hokunou Station. Since April 2016, the tourist train Nagara has been in operation. The carriages are designed by a renowned Japanese designer. The Nagaragawa Railway is blessed with scenic views along the line and many tourist attractions. In mid-August, special timetables will also be put into place to Gujo Hachiman Station and Mino-Shirotori Station. I'll explore the current state of this line and the full picture of its closure. Immediately after the transfer from Japanese National Railways, the line had 26 stations. Today, it has grown to 38. Additionally, the Meitetsu Minomachi line ran parallel to Seki Station and Mino Station until 1999. The Minomachi line was a streetcar operated by Meitetsu, a major private railway company. After the line was closed, Nagaragawa Railway built a new station nearby to replace it. I've arrived at Seki Station. There is a train depot here, and the Nagaragawa Railway's headquarters is also located here. Mino Station, 4 stations away, is 5.7 kilometers, 3.5 miles away from Seki Station, and there are 3 stations along the way. All of these stations were newly built after the transfer to Nagaragawa Railway. Seki Shimauchi Station was built in December 1986, at the same time as the transfer to Nagaragawa Railway. The neighboring stations, Seki City Hall Station and Matsumori Station, opened in April 1999, following the closure of the Meitetsu Minomachi line mentioned earlier. I've arrived at Mino Station. The station building is on the left, lower than the tracks. The Mino Station building, platform, and waiting room were registered as a National Tangible Cultural Property in December 2013. There are 2 sidings on the outbound side of the station, where maintenance cars are parked. Parked in front of them is a carriage that was retired in May of this year. This carriage was introduced in July 2000, and unlike the carriage I'm riding in now, it has cross seats. In 2018, the carriage began carrying cargo for a shipping company, and half of the body was painted to resemble the company's trucks. Due to aging, it was retired 25 years after its introduction. Those tracks are used to bring in new carriages, as well as to transport scrapped carriages. I enter a section where the Nagara River comes into view up close. The gently gaze clear stream train slows down to 30 kilometers per hour at view spots like railroad bridges, allowing you to enjoy views of the Nagara River. The Nagara River meanders in many places, and the Nagaragawa Railway does not run exactly along the river. Since the line often runs away from the river, view spots like railroad bridges are not to be missed. I've arrived at Gujo Hachiman Station, the main station along the line. As a tourist hub along the line, it is bustling with users, and the platform has been cut down to create a wheelchair ramp just before the station, making it barrier-free. Some trains pass at this station, and one train per day terminates here. The station building is a single-story wooden structure from when the station first opened, and also houses a building that once housed signaling equipment. Its rustic appearance and aura are truly exceptional. The overpass was built in 1944, shortly after the station opened. The wooden floorboards creak when you walk on them. In 2015, the station building, 2 platforms, the overpass, and the storage shed on the inbound side of the station building were registered as National Tangible Cultural Properties. A key feature of the sign at the foot of the overpass is the inverted "and" character. In 2017, the station building was restored to its original appearance when it first opened and was also renovated. While preserving its rustic look, key touches have been made. The waiting room also doubles as a sales space for local goods. As the station building was restored 8 years ago, it is almost identical to the photo on the wall of the building from when it first opened. The Nagaragawa Railway offers bicycle rentals at Seki Station, Mino-Ota Station, Minami Kariyasu Station, and Gujo Hachiman Station. Several plans are available, with daily rentals costing up to 1,000 yen, $6.7. Gujo Hachiman, a popular tourist destination, is 46.9 kilometers, 29.1 miles, from Mino-Ota Station. This is just under 70% of the Nagaragawa Railway's route, and the line still continues. Leaving Gujo Hachiman Station, I'll head towards Hokunou Station. The number of passengers, which was 21 when I left Mino-Ota Station, decreased as I passed Seki Station and other suburban stations, and by the time I left Gujo Hachiman Station, it was down to less than 10. As the Nagara River moves upstream, its appearance changes, with larger, jagged stones becoming more numerous. There are surprisingly few sections that run along the Nagara River, and the areas where farms and houses stretch out between the river and the tracks are more noticeable. After 2 hours and 10 minutes from Mino-Ota Station, the starting point, I'm arriving at Hokunou Station, our final destination. The fare from Mino-Ota Station is 1,720 yen, $11. A free pass costs 2,700 yen, $17.3, so a round trek will make up for the cost. The tracks split in 2 just before Hokunou Station, and the rails on the right have completely rusted surfaces. Since the service is infrequent, it seems that only 1 track is actually in use. There were 5 other passengers besides me. None of them were locals, just train enthusiasts. Even though it was a weekday daytime, usage was a bit tight. The return train departs at 0:40 p.m., so there's a 36-minute wait. Here's a spot you can't miss at Hokunou Station. This is the turntable near the station. This turntable was used to turn the steam locomotives that once ran on the Etsumi South Line and was made in the United States in 1902. Its official name is the former JNR Etsumi South Line Hokunou Station Locomotive Turntable. It has been designated a National Registered Tangible Cultural Property. Of course, it is no longer in use, and it is said to be unable to be moved, but some of the parts still have good paint, so it might be possible to move them. Right next to it is an area designated as a disaster-prone area, and the floor of this turntable also serves as a waterway. The tracks continue for a few hundred meters north from the station. However, the tracks are quite dilapidated, indicating that trains have not passed through here for quite some time. Hydrangeas and fireflies decorate the tracks, making it a typical scene at the terminal station of a local private railway. There is a vending machine in the waiting room of the station where you can stay hydrated. The ticket counter is closed, and the station is unmanned. Nostalgic photos are displayed on the walls. This photo was taken at Hokunou Station in 1968, when freight transport was thriving. The trees that used to surround the station are gone, and the tracks where freight cars are stored are still in use. There is also a diagram of the turntable we saw earlier. Due to trains turning back at Gujo Hachiman Station and other stations, there are 8 trains leaving this station on weekdays and 7 on weekends and holidays. The train I took turns back at 0:40 p.m., but this is a normal local train. The next stream train departs 1 train later at 2:05 p.m. And Hokunou Station is one of the stations involved in the issue of whether the Nagaragawa Railway should continue or close. At a regular meeting of the Seki City Council along in March 2025, the mayor, who also serves as president of the Nagaragawa Railway, revealed in his response that the company was considering closing certain sections of the line, which have been running at a loss. Although he did not specify a specific time frame or section, it is believed that a section of Gujo City with few passengers would be the target. Specific proposals for closure include the section between Hokunou Station and Mino-Ota Station, and expanding the section further to Gujo Hachiman Station. The Nagaragawa Railway is a third-sector company, funded by Gifu Prefecture and other local governments along the line. When lines cross multiple municipalities, the issue of whether to close them often becomes contentious, but the Nagaragawa Railway's case is a little different. There is a certain degree of agreement among local governments along the line, with full-scale discussions to begin in March regarding the closure of certain sections. Mayor Seki, who also serves as president of Nagaragawa Railway, has indicated his intention to keep the line open for the time being, but has noted that half of the users are students commuting along the line, and that the line will be constructed with the possibility of closure of certain sections in mind. A large proportion of the area along the line is within Gujo City, and it has the largest investment in Nagaragawa Railway outside of Gifu Prefecture. However, as it is at the end of the line, demand is certainly low. The power balance between local governments is evident in the fact that the mayor of Seki, who holds a 5% investment, serves as president of Nagaragawa Railway. The mayor of Gujo has also stated that it is my responsibility as head of the city to set a direction during my first term. The current Gujo mayor took office in March 2024, and his term is 4 years. The direction will likely be set within roughly 2 years. Behind this is the unavoidable decline in the number of passengers. Due to factors such as the spread of private cars and the declining birth rate and aging population along the line, the number of passengers has fallen by about 30% over the past 20 years. In 2023, the year after the final year in this graph, the number of passengers will be approximately 750,000, recovering to pre-pandemic levels, but still less than half the peak of approximately 1.8 million in 1992. In the case of the train I took, the outbound train that departed Gujo Hachiman Station at 4:53 p.m. had no passengers from Mino-Ota Station to Hokunou Station. Similarly, on the return inbound train, there were no passengers from Hokunou Station to Mino-Ota Station. There were 4 high school students boarding at Mino-Ota Station, which shows the large demand for student transportation along the line. This data is from a weekday evening, the day I wrote it, and it's only natural that weekday evening inbound trains are empty at the end of the line. But in an effort to improve management, the company is also considering reducing the number of trains during weekday daytime and nighttime hours when there are fewer passengers. In addition, within Gujo City, some trains may be canceled due to maintenance work. This applies to morning trains on holidays, reducing the already limited number of trains even further. Such maintenance work is usually carried out at night, but due to labor shortages and to improve working conditions, there are an increasing number of cases where trains are canceled for construction. The environment along the line can also be glimpsed from the tourist trains. The Nagaragawa tourist train began operation with 2 cars in April 2016. Due to its popularity, a 3rd car began operation in April 2018. Of the various plans available, the number 1 lunch plan, number 2 suites plan, and the 2 set plans apply to the route from Mino-Ota Station to Gujo Hachiman Station. Both plans are mainly about meals, so it's true that it can't be helped if they're too long, but the Nagaragawa Railway, which is known for its scenery, has cut out the section between Gujo Hachiman and Hokunou, which shows how the section is being treated. The number 1 and 2 view plan cover the entire line, but the turnaround time at Hokunou Station is just over 10 minutes, so they're not designed with sightseeing along the line in mind. In addition to passengers using the sections around Seki Station and Mino Station on the inbound side, many also get off at Gujo Hachiman Station, a major tourist destination, which suggests that demand for outbound travel tends to decrease from there. In fiscal year 2023, the operating loss is expected to amount to approximately 366 million yen, and the 5 local governments along the line are covering the deficit by approximately 145 million yen. Furthermore, local governments along the line provide subsidies to the Nagaragawa Railway, which will amount to over 462 million yen in fiscal year 2024. Furthermore, maintenance costs have also been rising. The entire line opened in 1934. Now, over 90 years later, the facilities are aging. Repairing the tracks that run through the mountains and the bridges that cross the Nagara River requires a large amount of money. Although the rolling stock is being replaced and the proportion of new cars is increasing, vehicle inspections remain the same. Subsidies are provided not only by cities and towns along the line, but also by the national government and Gifu Prefecture, with approximately 660 million yen, $4.2 million, being dispersed in fiscal 2023. There are also subsidies related to events, bringing the total amount of support for fiscal 2023 to approximately 849 million yen, $5.4 million. In April 2016, a derailment occurred on the line. The causes of the accident are believed to be a failure to properly assess rail wear and an oversight of loose bolts securing the rails to the sleepers. Following the accident, a total of 25 rails and 5 tunnels were replaced, and all of the affected rails were replaced by July 23, 2016. Stricter maintenance inspections have also been implemented, and rules regarding the procurement of new rails have also been established. However, in March 2020, a derailment occurred on the premises of Mino-Ota Station. The weight of the vehicle caused the rails to shift into a figure-8 shape at an S-curve near the station, and the gap between the rails widened, leading to the derailment. By March 28th, following the accident, 292 sleepers around the affected area had been replaced, and the track had been repaired. In addition, at least 1 in 3 sleepers in poor condition have been replaced in curves with a radius of 400 meters or less on the entire line, as well as 68 sleepers whose condition was deteriorating. Furthermore, due to a staff shortage in the construction department, 2 new staff members were hired in October of the same year, and another in December. Since then, measures have been steadily progressing, with at least 1 in 3 sleepers in curves with a radius of 400 meters or less being replaced from wooden to concrete. While safety investment is necessary, it is costly, which is why there is discussion about rationalizing the line by closing some sections. Local governments operate community bus services along the line, and discussions are underway to include these in restructuring the line. Thank you for watching.